I'm kind of sleepy today. I guess that's what happens when you have no caffeine in your system all day. What is this dot here? Let's try to cover that, shall we? Can you believe this thing still isn't shiny? We're about to hit 20. You wanna know what I realized a couple nights ago? I realized that almost nothing good has happened to me since high school ended. I was lying in bed thinking up scenarios, trying to fall asleep. I was thinking, what if I ran into someone from high school? What would I say? If I ran into someone from high school, we were catching up, this person asked me, how has life been? How have you been since high school ended? I haven't seen you since high school. How have you been since high school ended? And, well, I don't want to flat out just say life has been challenging, life has been bad, and I clearly can't say life has been amazing afterwards. So I thought, well, I would say something like, life has had its ups and downs. So if the person would ask me, like what? How so? I would be like, well, the downs. Both of my boys died. I failed high school. I failed college 3 times. I'm still single. I got no money, nothing to my name, no success, no anything. It's like, damn. Okay, those are the downs. You said life has had its ups and downs. What are some of the ups? So then I thought, what would I say there? What would I say if I were to ask, what were some of the ups to life? And well, I started thinking and, I could only think of one thing, and that is I got Sky, you know? My third and current dog. That's all I can think about. Sure, I graduated college, but like, big deal. At this point, that was a big waste of time, because what I took, I can't make money off of that. That kind of is pointless now. For God's sake, I'm going back to school in January to take some other program, to switch careers. Because the one I took just isn't sustainable. So, that just became null and void, me graduating college. And getting the license from after graduating has yielded me shite. Ain't find a job with it. I did find a job, but it lasted a month, so at that point it shouldn't even count. The only thing I could think of is the fact that my sister got married, but then again, that's not really something that happened to me. Well, not a whole lot of things good, if any, has happened since high school. Only things I could think about saying, but also has a huge asterisk next to it, is I watched a lot of great shows and movies and played a lot of great games. But then again, it's like, well, Hollywood and the gaming industry has kind of started crumbling. We all know the woke politics, the over-bloated budgets, the high price tags. I don't think that can really count as something that is good. So, shit. I realized the other night that basically nothing good has happened to me since high school ended. Shit. My life has been absolutely pointless. I have nothing, and I have achieved nothing. Great. Well, God forbid I ever run into someone from high school, and that person asks me how has life been ever since. Because I got nothing good to say. Because nothing good has happened. I can't even say things like I've traveled and seen the world. I went to Japan for 4 days. That counts for shite. And now that I think about it, aside from the cruise, that's about it. The cruise trip, the handful of days to Japan, that really was it. I don't count Hong Kong because I've been there before. Damn, absolutely nothing has happened since high school. Nothing. So if someone asks me, how have you been since high school, I really can only say one thing positive, and that is I got my dog. That's about it. I got a mountain load of negative things, of bad things that have happened since then, but I got next to nothing good to say. And, you know, it's only natural. If I run into someone from back then, it's only natural for them to ask, how have you been since I last saw you? Well, my joke of a life aside, did you guys see the Mario movie Direct this morning? We got the announcements for 2 new cast members. I swear to God, I really did not expect Brie Larson to be announced to voice Rosalina. I'm not saying I dislike Brie Larson. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of her either. But it's like, well, now every time I see Rosalina, I'm gonna associate with her. I'm gonna associate her with Brie Larson. And what was the name of the guy announced as Bowser Jr.? Oh, did you guys notice that Bowser Jr. had the Prowler sound effect? I noticed that. I first watched the trailer, I noticed that. Like, wait a second. I know that sound effect. I looked at the comments too. Everyone was pointing out, why is the Prowler sound effect there? Okay, so Brie Larson is voicing Rosalina, and then... Hold on, the guy voicing Bowser Jr. Benny Safdie, that's it. I have never heard of this guy before. I looked up what he was in before. Only thing I've seen him in before was Oppenheimer, and I don't even remember his role in that. So, yeah. And you know, the quick little sample we got for Bowser Jr.'s voice in the film, I kind of imagined Bowser Jr.'s voice a little bit higher, but then again, we'll have to wait and see. We all laughed at Chris Pratt being Mario, but in my opinion, it actually works. And I cannot unsee this ever since I've seen it pointed out to me. The Lumas have mouths. That's not right. That's not natural. Like, every Luma has a mouth. No. No, it doesn't work. I mean, it does, but it also doesn't. So, Mario movie news. Also, Bowser Jr., he has his paintbrush, his giant ink paintbrush from Mario Sunshine, as well as his, like, dark design. Isn't that from Mario Wonder? I never played that game, actually. We also see certain Mario Galaxy aspects. We see Mega Leg. That's really cool. We also see the water planet. We see, what is it, the Desert Kingdom in Mario Odyssey? Now, that kind of doesn't make sense. The Desert Kingdom should be on the same planet as the Mushroom Kingdom, not on a totally separate planet. But then again, Mario movie is changing up the continuity a little bit. I can already tell just from the trailer, the brief trailer we got, that the visuals are going to be outstanding. Yo, I can't wait until the score for this music comes out. I can't wait to listen to the movie soundtrack. You know, I saw this meme online. After the Mario Galaxy movie is over, we finish the credits. Luigi turns around and says, "I just won a mansion." Ooh. Say that again? Wouldn't that be neat? The stinger for the next movie would be a Luigi's Mansion movie. Did I even mention last week that we got the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2? We get to see live-action Toy Chica in all her curvy glory. I wonder how I could perhaps get my hands on that real-life animatronic they built. I mean, what? Wait until like a decade from now we get to the movie that's based on Security Breach. The real-life Roxanne Wolf. Ooh, you think it's bad now, Toy Chica. You know, for the past couple of days, I have been working on my Legend ZA Pokedex. Not only am I working on the regular Pokedex, I'm also working separately on a Alpha Living Dex. So I'm catching 2 of everything, 1 in Alpha form. Been spending a lot of time at Wild Zone 20. But I've gotten a good number of Alphas. I've caught basically all of the static ones. I've caught a good number of the ones that spawn in Wild Zone 20. And then just caught whatever I happen to run upon, the random spawned alphas. Good lord, some of the alphas are going to be really hard to get. Like for all of the starters. And don't forget, I don't need just 1, I need 3 of each. I'm doing an Alpha Living Dex. And then once I'm done my Alpha Dex in ZA, I'm gonna go and do an Alpha Living Dex in in Legends Arceus. Which, speaking of Legends Arceus, I would get back to that game if Giratina would be shiny now. Okay, we once again have 4 shows to talk about. Peacemaker, Gen V, Welcome to Derry, and Has Been Hotel. Let me just take a drink. We'll get started. When you joining the waifu war? When Chainsaw Man? I know you saw the things I sent you earlier. Did not know it was as bad as people barking inside the theaters. It's still No Nut November. Careful out there. You implied as if I haven't already failed. What? You know, while we're on the topic, completely coincidental, I got recommended on YouTube this video breaking down the science of No Nut November, if it's healthy or not. I swear, completely coincidental. You don't need me to tell you that being active, constant activity is healthy. But lack of so results in higher volume, let's say, higher capacity, higher count, let's say, which makes sense. Wow, I'm getting recommended here on my channel, on my YouTube right now. Cyber 6 explained in 12 minutes. Posted 11 days ago. I'm surprised people still know what Cyber 6 is. That was like 30 years ago. Wasn't that more than... Wait a second. When was that? Like 1998? No, 1999. So not 30 years ago just yet. But I'm still surprised people even know what that is. That was before the millennium. Yeah, I watched it growing up. I'm kind of sad that that's it. You know, there's no continuation with the brand, with the IP. And we know Hollywood loves to reboot everything these days. You know, there is no sequel series, there's no reboot series, there's no live action remake. Hell, I don't even think the comics are continuing. It ran for 13 episodes from, let's see here. It looks like September to October. Then again, it only had 13 episodes. Damn, I should watch it again. Because it's been so long. Okay, let's get into it. Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 4. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about the last episode. Judo Master returns. So this episode, we see Argus storming towards Chris's house. Actually, no, wait, before that, we had the opening. In the opening, it was, what, 35 years ago? And we see Chris and Keith out hunting with their father, Augie. They're hunting some sort of creature. It sounded like a monkey. But then, when we see it after it was shot, it kind of looked like a weasel. Not like the weasel we have in real life, like the character Weasel. It looked like one of his kind. However, that was at first glance. The closer we zoom in, the closer it more resembles just an alien. So then Augie blows its head off, and then we see not only did it have some sort of device. At first I thought that was the inspiration for the Peacemaker helmet. I thought young Chris was going to put it on, but no. And then they look up and see a door in the middle of the woods that is the quantum fluctuating chamber. So there was just a door in the middle of the woods that was a portal to a pocket dimension. And then the intro rolls. I kind of was thinking, okay, they discovered the door that leads to other dimensions in the middle of the woods. So did they then like build their house around it? And then the entire neighborhood eventually followed? Like, is that what happened? No. No, that is not what happened. We learned that later on. So, back to present day. Argus is on their way to Peacemaker's house. Their conversation's not really worth bringing up. They have with them Michael Rooker's character. What was his character's name again? I just know him as the Eagle Killer. Red Saint Wild is what I see here. I don't know, I'm just gonna call him the Eagle Killer. So, they roll up. Economos does text Peacemaker as a warning, like, yo, we're about to raid your house, get out now. Bring Eagly with you. Peacemaker, he goes into bed about to fall asleep, but then he looks up and sees bullet holes, and then he notices his place is a mess. So he questions Eagly what happened. Eagly is digging through the fridge. Peacemaker gets the warning text, and then he uses cold cuts to lure Eagly out so they can run. But before they leave, before he flees, he goes into his closet and he grabs that device we saw in the flashback. So then they leave from the back door into the woods. Argus shows up. For God's sake, man. The Eagle Killer, Red Saint Wild, from what I see his name is here. He is able to locate and pick up ego droppings, and then the motherfucker, he eats it. He puts it in his mouth. When he picked it up, I verbally said, don't eat it. Don't put it in your mouth. And he does exactly that. A nice, crispy, crunchy sound came from it as well. And he's able to actually taste what was in there. He was able to even tell, like, this bird was digging on cold cuts. And then the post-credit scene, they just expanded on it. So it's like, cold cuts, a can of Spam, A5 Wagyu, Beluga Caviar. He's able to taste all of that from the ego droppings. Good lord. But anyways, jumping back, so he looks up and he sees Eagly. He's about to shoot Eagly, but then Economos has to make an executive decision on the spot. And he just... I forget if he tackles him or if he whacks him on the head. But whatever, he stops him to save Eagly. So... Adebayo, she is excited to get a magazine subscription, like a phone book subscription, in the mail because her counseling business is advertised inside it, like in the middle of the book. I can get being excited for that, but you also have to remember, we're in present day. Nobody reads those anymore, let alone flip to the middle of the book and actually calls upon the ads. So while she is all giddy and celebrating that her advertisement is in the middle of the phone book, Peacemaker, he shares his location and, well, she goes right away. So they need to go to... Okay, after Peacemaker meets up with Adebayo, they need to go to a specific location, which is a little abandoned hut, little abandoned cabin in the woods. That sounds great. Nothing bad ever happens there. And they also need doors. So he texts Adrian to pick up some doors from, like, Home Depot. What did he say? Some doors and hinges. He also asks Economos to stall. Oh, wait, before that happened, as Peacemaker was running, Judo Master ambushes him. And then these two get into a fight again. You know, for Judo Master's height and stature being lacking, it does make him more versatile, more agile. My god, his suit is ridiculous, I can't help but just be in awe at his suit. He doesn't take it off either, ever. And he keeps on munching on flaming hot Cheetos. And we learn that Judo Master is still salty over Peacemaker killing the cow from the previous season. Because Judo Master actually saw the cow and the butterflies as something good for the world. So anyways, they hilariously fall off the cliff after fighting, which I can't imagine was very pain-free while filming. I imagine they actually rode down a hill in the middle of the woods. Well, Judo Master fell first, and then Peacemaker fell right on top of him, knocking him out. He picks back up that device he was carrying, and then he meets up with Adebayo. They go to the middle of the woods, the cabin. Peacemaker said it was his grandfather's. It was a place that his father and brother used to come to hunt. He also asked Economos to stall because he needs to move the dimensional portal. And that's what that device is for. If you plant it at the base of a doorway, I suppose, it can transport the portal entrance to that doorway. Alright. So before he can let Argus get their hands on it, he needs to move it. So Economos needs to stall. So Economos does just that. He stalls. And yeah, in the cabin, Peacemaker was able to move the door just in time before Argus opens it up. And obviously, Economos stalled just the right amount of time. So now that the door has been moved, well, Peacemaker has a conversation with Adebayo about what's been going on. He reveals to her what he's been doing, going into the portal, going through the door to another universe where his brother's alive. his father's alive and trying to have a relationship with that world, Amelia Harcourt. I like that they did bring up the fact that by the end of season 1, they hinted at he was going to hallucinate his father, and that just has not been the case. So at least, while yes, they did forget about that storyline, they at least brought it up. So at least there's that. Argus, Sasha, she reports back to Rick Flag Sr. that the portal's gone. It's also nice to finally see, even if it's a picture form, both Rick Flags together. We never actually saw them together. We did see one in this episode, and that was a framed picture of Rick Flag Sr. with his son. Both in a picture together. That's nice. Finally, we get to see the two of them side by side. And you know what? Rick Flag Jr. is immensely taller than his father. No dig at Frank Grillo, but still. You know, I would like to hope that if I were to have a son one day, he would be taller than me. That'd be good for him. Let me tell you, folks, life down here is not fun. So if I have a son, hell, if I even have a daughter who's taller than me, then that's good. Well, the family photos may be a little embarrassing, but still, what's best for the kids, right? Anyway, so Rick Flag Sr. has a plan. He goes and visits Harcourt, our Harcourt, who just finished, once again, an alleyway brawl. So, Rick, he visits Amelia, they talk, and then he basically does confirm that Amelia has been blacklisted by every federal agency there is. Because Amanda Waller, she can't do that to her daughter, so by extension, Harcourt gets all the blame. But Rick Flag, he does offer... He offers an opportunity. There is a way for you, Amelia, to join the federal agencies once again. You have to do one thing. You have to bring us Peacemaker. But Peacemaker, he's kind of debating. Does he truly ditch this universe for good? And go live at this new one, this supposed better one? He does also mention to Adebayo that he accidentally killed his doppelganger self. So she does question, is there a you over there? You said there's your brother, your father. Is there a you over there? At least she does question that. But, you know, that spot is kind of vacant now. So Chris really is debating, does he just move universes? But before he makes that decision, he texts his Amelia to meet up. He tells Adrian that he needs to go see her, regardless if it's safe or not, because her answer is going to determine what choice he's going to make next. So unknowingly to Chris, he texts the exact address to meet up, and well, at the moment, it kind of does seem like Amelia is giving him up. Because she just flat out tells Rick Flag Sr. the full address. The full meetup address. So we'll have to see. And then, as the ending, we see a damn near butt-naked Michael Rooker dancing around a flame, embracing his blood that he got from his forehead. And, well, maybe he's not as crazy as he seems, because there really does seem like an ego-killing force out there, like a supernatural force. I mean, it's the DC world. Magic and gods exist. that's a daily thing, you know? So, with his ritual dance or whatnot, he's actually able to see where Eagly is. And now knows exactly where Eagly is hiding out, and by extension, where Peacemaker's hiding out. This character is now determined to kill Eagly. Because earlier in the episode, when Economos knocked him out, he kind of went off the rails and was like, there was a second eagle protecting the first one. That must mean the first eagle is the prime eagle. The god of all eagles. I have to kill that eagle no matter what now. So he's now even more determined to kill Eagly. I'm going to take a wild guess, and I'm going to say this character dies by the end of the season. I swear, why does every single Michael Rooker character I watch die? I swear, you have Merle, you have Yondu, you have Savant, you have his character in Creature Commandos, I forget his name. Why does every single Michael Rooker character I watch die? But anyways, yep, there you go, Peacemaker. I will say they do a relatively decent job, a pretty great job at the end, setting up how high the stakes are. You know, they hook you in, they make you excited, like, oh god, everything bad is happening. How is he going to get out of this? Well, I better tune into the next episode to find out. I will admit, though, Season 2 so far just hasn't had the same magic as Season 1 did. Maybe it's because, you know, we all know deep down that Season 1 is no longer connected to Season 2, as stupid as that sounds. Once again, the season itself is not canon, but the events are canon, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the last episode, Rick Flag Jr. referencing June Moon. So not only is the events of the Suicide Squad canon, the events of the very first Suicide Squad are canon. However, the film itself is not, because that's DCEU. Part of me wishes James Gunn just did a full reboot, completely disconnected. I kind of wish he just straight up rebooted, hard reboot, but just kept Peacemaker canon to the DCEU. Like, I doubt for a little while now, I doubt for quite a while, we're going to see Peacemaker show up in a movie actually interacting with the characters on screen. He made a cameo in Superman, but, like I said, interacting with the characters. Like, I doubt we'll see anytime soon Peacemaker actually on screen interacting with David Corenswet's Superman anytime soon. Oh, you know what? I did also like that there was a reference, too. While Rick Flag Sr. was talking to Amelia in her home, she was like, weren't you hurt a little while ago? And he was like, yeah, I broke my back, helping Amanda Waller with her stuff, you know? I like that callback. That's actually a reference to the end of Creature Commandos, where, yeah, Clayface did break his back. And we're going to get a Clayface movie next year. How ridiculous is this, by the way? A brand new DC universe, brand new continuity. We're getting freaking Clayface before Batman. Oh, wasn't it announced earlier today that we're gonna get a Jimmy Olsen TV show? Well, what's it gonna be titled? Something like DC Crimes? We're getting a Jimmy Olsen TV show, which supposedly will not have Clark or Lois. You know, I can kind of understand James Gunn wanting to just do whatever. No clear direction, no big bad to build up towards. Just do whatever. I can kind of get that. But on the other hand, what Marvel did was kind of perfect, was it not? Hell, if I was in charge of DC, I would absolutely straight up just copy Marvel. I would give all my big players their solo movies and then have them come together in a big, team up movie. You know what I would do? Like exactly what I just said. I would give Superman his own solo film, Batman solo film, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman. Man, I can't stand the fact that Cyborg is in the Justice League. I associate him more with Teen Titans, but now they associate him more with Justice Leagues. Or Justice Gang. So what I would do is I would have each big character, have their own solo movie, Green Lantern solo movie, Hal Jordan. And then I would have like a post-credit scene. Not really necessarily like a Nick Fury. Kinda, actually. So like Superman's the first movie. Maybe this would work better. Superman as the first movie, post-credit scene. Batman shows up and is recruiting. So then we would pay it back. Next movie, Batman, post-credit scene. Superman shows up like, hey, I think I found someone who might be a good candidate for our team. Shows who it is, and then, next solo movie, Wonder Woman. Post-credit scene, Superman and Batman meet up with Wonder Woman. And the next solo movie, whether it be Flash, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Shazam, whoever it may be. Like, each one, well, maybe not every single one, because then it would be predictable. Maybe not every single one where the post-credit scene is literally the team coming up and recruiting them. But yeah, if I was in charge of DC, I would do exactly the same thing. Give each character their own solo project, and then we see them come together. But we also see them slowly come together through little pieces in each of their solo movie too. I'm rambling too much. I got 3 more shows to go over. Alright, let's jump into Gen V. This episode... This episode wasn't bad. I'm seeing a lot of discourse online about Gen V Season 2 being bad. I'm gonna reserve judgment until I finish the season. So, we'll see. So, this episode opens up, Season 2, Episode 4, opens up with, hey, surprise guest cameo. It's Firecracker. She's reporting on the whole fiasco with Jordan Lee announcing that it was she, or he, that actually attacked Kate Dunlap. And well, to my surprise actually, no one believes her. No one believes Jordan is the one who attacked Kate. Everyone's just like, why is she lying? Why are they lying? So yeah, I kind of didn't expect that. I kind of didn't expect no one to believe Jordan. So now Jordan is hated upon, but I think, technically still number 1. So now they have to think. Well, actually, before that, Jordan and Marie, they get called into Cypher's principal office, where the dude, the marketing guy from the boys is here, and he's pitching to them a brawl, a fight between them. What was it, like Gender Bender versus Blood Bender? So, Cypher wants Marie and Jordan to fight publicly, and he also wants Marie to win. Otherwise, if you don't fight, you'll be sent back to Elmira, and you don't want that, do you? Same goes for your friend Emma. Oh, no, you don't want her to be sent back to Elmira, do you? No? Great. So get your ass into that fighting ring. Marie's just like, but I can't win against Jordan. So Cypher offers to train her personally, and well, that comes important later on. So, Cypher is mad sus, but they don't have any sort of dirt on him, so they actually decide to ask Kate for help. Because before they showed up to his office, they heard Cypher yelling at her and then Kate leaving the room. So they determined that Kate isn't very fond of him either, so they should ask her for help. They come up with a plan. They're going to find out what he's hiding, because I forgot to mention this about the last episode. Cypher now lives inside of Dean Shetty's house. And there's also this like secret room that Cypher is hiding. So the plan right now is Jordan and Kate go to Cypher's house, find out what he's hiding. Marie, to distract Cypher, will take him up on his personal training offer, and Emma will just do whatever. Well, at the moment, that is. Well, I shouldn't say that. Emma needs to find a way to, try to stop the fight as well. So, as Kate and Jordan walk up to Cypher's house, security guards there. Kate tries to use her powers, but because of the skull being cracked open, her power doesn't work quite the same anymore. And instead of what she commanded, which was, give us your keys and fuck off like none of this ever happened, what he does instead is he turns around, drops his pants, and fucks the Smurf gnome. Oh my god, it was... Why? This show is dirty for the sake of being dirty. Like, come on. He dropped his pants, too, for real. You saw cheeks and everything. And I can't imagine this was very comfortable for the actress to do, for Maddie Phillips to do. She has to reach down and be pretty close to this man's bare buttocks to grab his keys. I can't imagine that was very comfortable for the actress to do. But she does so. She now has keys, and they go in. They see what Cypher is hiding, and it's some sort of burnt, decrepit body inside of this like cryo chamber that woke up among their presence. So the two of them run for their lives. Let's see. Emma, she is now with Harper and Allie. They come up with a plan like they need to sabotage the fight to stop it, They also discuss what Allie's power is, because we know what Emma's power is, we know what Harper's power is, we don't know Allie's power. It turns out she can control her hair, Medusa style, just not like snakes. However, there's a catch. She can't control the hair on top of her head. Take a wild guess what hair she can control. I swear to God, if I had that power, if my superpower was just to control pubic hair, I swear I would just never use it and claim I am simply human. I ain't no soup. I got no powers. I'm human. I got nothing going on about me. I got no V in my system. Nope. Like, damn. Out of every power you could have gotten, you know, there is no probability of you getting a specific power. But out of everything you could have gotten super strength, flight, invisibility, mobility, teleportation, combustion. You could have gotten anything. you kind of got dealt the unfortunate card at life that is the power of pubic dominance. We also meet Allie's brother, who I don't remember his name, but it looks like he's gonna build a relationship with Emma. Well, it's good to know that she's over Sam. I don't think we really even see Sam that much in this episode. Alright, so this is the big part I want to get to. Cypher training Marie. So his training is, there are two tables. One table has a bunch of bags, like hospital bags filled with blood. He wants Marie to move them from one table to the other without popping the bag. At first, Marie fails. She puts up her hand as if she was using the force. And then after a inspirational speech from Cypher, Marie tries again. Only this time, Cypher tells her, put down your hand that does nothing. Feel it. Don't do it, feel it. And Marie is able to move all the bags of blood without bursting any of them. And I've been saying this the whole time. Marie's blood powers, she should be able to move blood by will. She should even be able to move people by will, because of the blood that's inside them. It looks like Cypher had the exact same idea as I did. Because he even pitches to Marie that she could be the most powerful soup Vought, nay, the world has ever seen. Even more powerful than Homelander. Marie does question, why are you training me specifically? And Cypher's just like, because you want to know what Odessa is, right? Oh, come on, Marie, you know that I was the doctor there who delivered you. I gotta say, I'm intrigued by this character. He's so cool, calm, and collected, but yet he is so strikingly sinister. You know, he's always one step ahead. He knows exactly what you're planning, what you're up to. And that is further emphasized throughout the episode, because we just see him constantly be one step ahead. So, Marie, her next task is to lift up a goat, literally named Elon. Lift up the goat, but, you know, don't burst the bag, aka don't kill the damn thing. So Marie does it. She lifts up the goat. She lifts up the goat named Elon Musk. She even mentions, too, that she's scared. What if she hurts it? Cypher says, well, that's why we name them after people we don't like, right? So go ahead, lift up Elon. So she lifts it, and then she's able to sense Cypher's blood. There's no compound V in his system. And then she kills the goat. So Marie is able to determine that is Cypher's secret. Nobody knows what his powers is because he has no powers. He has no compound V in his system. He's human. So she reports this back to her friends. And, well, they come up with a new plan. Now that they know he's human, they come up with a new plan. They're going to blackmail him. So their plan is to catch him in the act, admitting he's human, and then use that as blackmail. They're going to use that blackmail to have him stop the fight between Marie and Jordan. Actually, there was this one scene earlier. It was before Jordan and Kate snuck up into Cypher's house. There was this commercial. This literal fight night commercial. This ad between Jordan and Emma. What? Jordan and Marie? Why'd I say Emma? Kate questions, you guys shot that commercial? Jordan's just like, they deep faked us. I mean, it kind of makes sense that they would not actually film that commercial, but then again, it kind of would. Like, they have no choice in the say. They're filming that goddamn commercial, right? But just for Jordan to be like, they deep faked us? Anyways, so Kate gets a text from Cypher saying like, you idiot, we live in a world of cameras. I know you snuck into my house. Come see me now. It's like, yep, that's, that adds up. We do indeed live in a world of cameras. I get that you had to show your face to sneak up past the guard, because if you were just covering your face, you would probably be shot on the spot. But whatever. So the plan is in go. Emma's plan is to shrink down with this very small, like, discreet GoPro camera and mic. They're gonna plant it inside of Cypher's lounge where he gets to watch the fight. But Emma needs to go through some pipes in order to get there. While Kate goes and meets with him to distract him, to get him to confess, or rather just blackmail him about being human, Marie and Jordan have no choice but to, you know, go into the fighting ring. So as Emma goes through the pipes, some of the staff turn on the water system, so Emma gets flushed away and nearly drowns. But then she ends up coming up somehow. She ends up coming up the exact toilet that is the toilet to Cypher's lounge area. And, well, Cypher at that particular moment has to use the bathroom. No, not number one. He drops his pants and he sits. Now, I do not appreciate seeing this man's scrotum. You know? I do not appreciate seeing that. I also don't appreciate we've come this close to seeing the man's starfish either. I don't think his cheeks spread to the point we saw that, but I don't appreciate coming this close. Man, I can't help but notice the double standards. I have seen so many dick and balls in this show so far, not one pussy in sight. I've seen a handful of titties, but I have not seen a single vagina in detail so far. Can't help but notice the double standards with this show, Isn't Hollywood and the rules put in place so weird with nudity in Hollywood? You can see, well, depending on the rating of the project, you can see breasts just fine, you can see penises just fine, but there's some sort of restriction with seeing vaginas on screen. You know? Even some of the hardcore adult sex films, I'm not talking just straight up, like actual feature films, you don't see any of that. You don't see none of the girls' giblets, you see the men's. So, like, there's some sort of weird restriction when it comes to that. So anyways, Emma was able to make it out of the water just in time before any logs fell on top of her. Is able to get the bug to Kate, and then, you know, dip. So they're able to watch on their phone from afar. Jordan and Emma, Jesus, I keep saying Emma. Jordan and Marie are in the fight ring, and instead of fighting, they kiss, so the crowd boos at them. So Kate tries her best to blackmail. It's just like, I know your secret. Oh, come on, Cypher, I know you're human. Let's keep this between you and us, right? There's no need to expose you to the world, and I think the first thing you can do to keep your secret is stopping this fight. However, like I said, Cypher is one step ahead, and he already can tell. Where's the camera? Is it getting my good side? Oh, here's the camera. Oh, Kate, down low angle. Oh, you're seeing all my nostrils and nose hairs. Come on, Kate, this is sloppy work. I expected better from you. So then, Cypher reveals he's not human. He does have powers. His power is remote mind control. He's able to control Jordan and actually initiate the fight. And Marie is able to tell that Jordan's not in control because, one, she hits him in the face, and then she says the same line, I told you to drop your hand because it does nothing. Because that's the line that Cypher said to Marie earlier. Well, it's staged to the point where Marie has won the fight against Jordan. She looks up at Cypher angrily, and then the episode ends. I wonder where the season is headed, you know? We're still gonna have to learn what Odessa is about. So yeah. There you go, Gen V. Pretty good episode, by all accounts. You know, I'm so surprised by not just Gen V, but also the boys, more so the boys, how little some of the actors actually work together. Like, we don't really see certain characters on screen ever. But we, the audience, see them on screens all the time, but we don't see the characters together. As in, we don't see the actors working together all that much. You know, we don't really see Huey and Homelander on screen together all that much. So Jack Quaid and Anthony Starr, they don't really work together all that much. Hell, it took 4 seasons for us to see MM and A-Train on screen together. And you know what? Same goes for both Jordans. Both actors for Jordans, they barely are on screen together. Minus that one exception at the end of season 1. But I do imagine that they do work together behind the scenes, because they do have to swap out in the moment, so they're at least on set together. Can you imagine that, though? They're filming one conversation, the conversation gets cut off halfway. And then it's like, okay, the other actor, come on in. All right, action. Continue the conversation. You know, I called the dentist earlier today, thinking maybe I need to book an appointment to get my teeth checked out. Just checked out, because 2 weeks ago I got my teeth touched up. It was drilled, it had that spackle put on, and, well, they're sensitive. Like, they're very sensitive to the point where sometimes I eat and some sort of food gets pressed upon the teeth, it stings a lot. And I'm kind of thinking, maybe the spackle put on wasn't put on very great. So today I tried to call to see if I can get a checkup. Just to double check, like, is everything good? Anything need to be touched up again? But then I was told sometimes the spackle put on, it could take a while for you to get used to, for the sensitive pain to go away. Could take a couple days, could take a couple weeks. So I was recommended, keep using Sensodyne, specifically Sensodyne, the toothpaste specifically for sensitive teeth. And then I was also told to put a very tiny amount on my finger, simply rub it on my tooth. Don't rinse my mouth, just rub it on my tooth and the gums, and go to bed. Okay. Hello there, mortals. So yeah, that's what I was told. Just apply the toothpaste straight up to my teeth and gums and go to bed. Don't rinse your mouth, because that'll dilute the potency of the toothpaste, I guess. You know, I can't believe certain films came out this year. Like, it's only been this year? Like, damn. Felt like a lifetime ago. Like, movies like Sinners or Weapons, like, damn, I feel like I watched those a lifetime ago. Those haven't even been a year out yet. Alright, let's talk about the next thing. Episode 2 of Welcome to Derry. It's a pretty good episode. Pretty good. The series is pretty good so far. Let's see. Episode 3 came out, from what I see, 3 days ago. So that means after I watch episode 3, episode 4 is not out yet. Let's see. Oh, they come out on Sundays. I didn't know that. Interesting. They come out on Sundays. What day does Has Been Hotel come out? Oh, I see here that they're gonna release multiple episodes on the same day again. So, did 2 episodes come out today? I think so, based on what I see here. So they come out on Wednesdays and Sundays. Anyway, so Welcome to Dairy. Episode 2. Shiny Giratina isn't real, it's shiny locked. I'm starting to believe so. I'm starting to think it might be the case. I swear, I'm very tempted to jump ship, head over to Ultra Sun, and try my luck there, because this Ultra Moon no longer likes me. How has Giratina, of all things, become the longest shiny hunt I've done yet for this? Have I been keeping up with Dispatch? Actually, no. I haven't found the time to yet. I know there's a divide between Blonde Blazer and... what was the other character's name? See, the fact that I don't even know the other character's name shows you I haven't kept up with it yet. You know, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of those 5 episodic games I could play here, and I mean a lot. There's 4 seasons of Walking Dead. I don't know if I would do Michonne. There is Life is Strange. Isn't there like 3 of those games now? I've only seen the first one. I kind of fell off the second one. There's Telltale's Batman. And here's the one I'm still waiting for. The Wolf Among Us. Where the hell is The Wolf Among Us 2? Hasn't it been 10 years since the first game came out? Oh! It's been 12 years since the first game came out. A sequel was announced, what, 5, 6 years ago? So yeah, where is The Wolf Among Us 2? It's been 12 years. What's gonna happen first? GTA 6 or The Wolf Among Us 2? But yeah, there's a ton of these 5-episode games I could play. I want to, it's just, I gotta find the time. Would you guys be interested in that? Seeing me play the Walking Dead games? Those are great, except for Season 3. Season 3, we follow Javi, and nobody cares about him. Season 3 was just an excuse for us to not play as Clementine. Season 1 play as Lee, Season 2 as Clementine, Season 3 should have been Clementine again, but they gave us Javier, a character nobody cares about. And then Season 4 was Clementine again. I still would really love to see any sort of live action project with Clementine, since she is a fan favorite character. However, I think the reason they haven't done it yet is some sort of like deal with Skybound, since Clementine's a game character. You know, part of me likes to think that, even though this isn't the case, part of me would like to think that the games are canon to the TV show. They're not. But wouldn't that be cool? If Clementine were to ever show up, she references things that happened in the game. I mean, we saw Glenn in the show, and he left early on, claiming, I think he was claiming he was heading back to Atlanta, which we see him be at in the show. I mean, we see Herschel, and he clearly looks and sounds different, but whatever at this point. People look and sound different between different medias all the time. if they're still the same character, meant to be the exact same character, then good enough. Sure, in the game we only see, what was his name, Sean, his son, but we don't see him in the show. Pretty sure in the show his stepson is dead, so close enough. We don't see Beth or Maggie, but could just be elsewhere. They could have just simply not shown up. Anyways, enough babbling. Let us get on to Welcome to Derry, Episode 2. We open up with everyone being suspicious of Ronnie's father, Hank, since he is one of the only two people to have the keys to the theater, the second being Ronnie. So the police are suspicious of Hank, that he was one of the only adults with access to the theater, where 3 kids died. However, we know he's innocent. Everyone else, though, don't think so. He's a black man who has access to a theater where kids die in the year 1962. I think it's pretty sadly safe to say that the blame would be pointed at him. So we also see that Hanlon, he is told that the people who attacked him, they caught one of them. It should be that racist dude, that racist guy he met on base from the previous episode. However, Hanlon is able to identify what the weapon pointed at his face was. And, well, that makes him a little bit suspicious. We find out why later. So, Hanlon's wife, Charlotte, and his son, what's his name? I think his name was Will. They move in. They move into the house, into the new neighborhood, and all the neighbors are giving them stares like, why are these people here? That kind of look from the 60s. So there's a little bit of malice in the air. This is goddamn Derry we're talking about. Anything but normal is the case in Derry, and we know that. So, Ronnie, oh my god, this was intense. This was insane. Ronnie trying to fall asleep, she has her blankets over her, and then we hear this heartbeat sound, and then the heartbeat sound just intensifies, and then her blanket turns red and starts beating. So Ronnie has become literally inside of a beating heart. She tries to claw her way out to free herself. And then she literally pops out of her blanket, covered in blood and all wet. She turns around and then she sees her deceased mother, her dead mother. And we learn through the dialogue that it seems like her mother died from childbirth. So then, I was surprised. The scene, it just kept on going. It just kept on going. So the umbilical cord, from what I could see, because the screen was pretty dark, it still connected to her and was dragging her in back to her mother's womb, which now has sharp teeth and glowing yellow eyes inside, which we know is Pennywise. She's able to rip off the umbilical cord, but then her mother figure rises up and starts approaching her. She's screaming in horror, and then her father shows up. And then everything's normal. She's no longer dirty. Everything's normal. The scene was more intense as you watched it compared to my ass just talking about it. But the scene, it just kept on going. I thought it was over like 2 different times, but no, it just kept on going. So the military is out in the middle of fields digging something up. I see here with the help of Dick Halloran. Isn't that the guy from The Shining? Was that his name? Dick Halloran? So the military is looking for something, digging something up. But we also see that they're being watched. And the people watching them are some Native Americans. We saw in It Chapter 2, there was some sort of backstory with Native Americans, the ritual of Chud, trying to banish it, but clearly it didn't work. So, Native Americans are pretty significant in this franchise, in the series. We'll have to see where this is leading up to. So, at school, Marge is once again trying too hard to fit in, which, not gonna lie, I've done that before. And then whatever the hell that bitch's name is, the queen of the popular girls, I suppose, she just won't have it, someone being more popular than her, so she tries to find every little thing to nitpick about Marge. Oh yeah, we also see that Will, we actually don't really learn his name just yet, we see that Will is late to class on his first day, thus giving him a pretty bad reputation with the teacher. Oh man, I've had teachers like that before, scary and strict. We also see Charlotte go into like a butcher shop, trying to get a roast for dinner. We also see outside people are putting up the statue. The statue. I forget what the name of that statue is. We saw it animate that statue in It Chapter 2. But then Charlotte sees a group of boys bullying and beating up a boy outside. Nobody steps in, because this is Derry. So Charlotte goes outside and tries to do something. You know, I'm kind of surprised, that despite being a black woman in this time, she tries to help the boy getting his ass beat by all directions. And the bullies, I assume is like 12-year-old boys, they actually stick their chest out and seem like they're about to, group up against this lady. And she actually backs up like she's scared. They don't look like, like 17, 18-year-old teenagers. No, these guys look young. A little bit taller since she's a woman, but still, like eye level. Whatever. She discusses it at dinner. That really didn't matter that much. Despite just wanting them to lay low, not draw attention to them, because they already kind of stick out in the town. So, at school, yada yada yada, the character Rich meets Will. Alright, cool. During the lunch scene where Marge tries to fit in with the cool girls, I guess, Lily, she eats alone, but then Ronnie approaches her like, I saw it. It happened again. So then they get into this discussion, right? Like, my dad wasn't there. You didn't tell the police that, right? Lily's just like, what was I supposed to tell them? That a flying monster baby came out of the screen and killed those kids? They're not going to believe me. They're going to think I'm crazy and they're going to send me back to, what was the name of that institute again? Whatever, the Arkham Asylum of this place. So she did not say the truth. Instead, she just didn't say Ronnie's father wasn't there. So they fight about it, because Ronnie is afraid that her father will be taken away. Rightfully so, and makes sense, given the time and the case. But Lily, she's afraid that if she tells the truth, she'll be sent back to that asylum. Because she was already there after her father died, in the pickle factory or whatever. So Ronnie lashes out. Oh, I need to charge this thing real quick. Ronnie lashes out. She says a bad word. She swears. She shouts bullshit in the middle of the lunchroom. And then the teacher gives her detention. We also see during the scene where Rich meets Will. Hold on. We see during that scene that this other kid throws a smoke bomb in the middle of the hall. Will runs, but then runs into the same teacher, so he gets detention too. So then Will and Ronnie, they get detention together. During detention, we see that the police are at the school and taking Lily away. So, we actually see Lily be questioned by Officer Bowers, ancestor to Henry Bowers, that they question her once again, and they almost threaten her too. They almost blackmail her. It's like, well, if we can't get an answer out of you, people, they're gonna start thinking about rumors, and it's not gonna take long for the only suspect, well, no, the only victim, the only survivor to become the only suspect. So, we may have no choice but to send you to that asylum again, and then she cries, begging, please don't. So, Officer Bowers is just like, alright, let me ask you again, let me rephrase. Can you be certain that night, Hank was not there? Can you be certain he was not there? And then we see Hank get arrested. So Ronnie is all pissed. She goes to Lily's house and screams like, "What did you say to the police, Lily?" And then this sequence was pretty nuts as well. We see Lily go to the grocery store to shop. You hear on the speaker, it says things like, deals, deals, deals. This product is half off. Go to this aisle and pick this up. Be sure to scan your coupons for a great discount. That kind of stuff. We hear the speaker say that. And that just adds to the eeriness in the background. We see store shelves move behind her, almost like closing her in. We see adults and people follow her, whisper to her, smiling to her demonically. And then when Lily finally picks up something's wrong, she's cornered. She sees Maddie on a lunchbox. She sees, well, she kind of just glances over Marge being on a lunchbox. She sees Ted and Phil on lunchboxes, and then they start decaying on those did I say lunchbox? Cereal boxes. She tries to leave, but then she gets surrounded by all fours with shelves of pickle jars. She sees her dad manifesting as pickles inside one of the jar, and then a very disgusting, creepy, "One kiss for daddy, why don't you?" That kind of stuff. Disgusting. So then, not only does she smash that one pickle jar, all the pickle jars fall on the ground and smash and break. The pickles come together, and then it manifests into like a pickle monstrosity version of her father. It goes up towards her, more pickles wrap around her, and then the pickle monster tries to kiss her. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Holy shit. And then the adults finally break the reality, and they're like, "Lily, what the hell is wrong with you? You broke a jar of pickles on the floor. What's good? These shows I'm talking about, that's what. That's pretty much the end of Lily's storyline for the episode. We see Hanlon, he confronts the racist who was, taking the blame for him in the last episode for what happened. So he's able to tell that the gun he was able to, know the model of, that is remarkably hard to operate. Hanlon said he even saw well-veteraned Koreans during his time there struggle with using that gun. So what he does is he puts the gun and the mag, I think, side by side, and then he taunts the guy, and then he struggles to put it together, cock the gun, and shoot. So he's just like, yeah, that's what I thought. You're a racist, but you're innocent. You're not the one who, beat the hell out of me last night trying to get those military information. So Hanlon goes to speak to General Shaw about that, and General Shaw reveals that the whole thing was staged. The attack on him, everything was staged to test him. So before before Hanlon reports Shaw is just like, just give me 10 minutes to hear me out. So then Shaw brings him to the secret base, where he finally tells him what's really going on. They're trying to stop the Cold War before it even starts. So the military, they're trying to dig up something that was buried in Derry a long time ago. However, the issue is, whatever this thing is, whatever this weapon is that can guarantee victory in the war, it generates uncontrollable fear in whoever gets near it. But Harlan, he has a very, very unique case. He has, I don't know what the condition is called, but I think he has a teensy bit of brain damage to where he doesn't feel fear. So he is very unique for this case. He can actually get close enough to retrieve whatever this thing is, whether it be a machine or a bioweapon that controls fear. He can actually get close enough to retrieve it once they find it. And well, it looks like the military has dug something up. And what that turns out is a car with a couple of skeletons in it. Could that be the same car we see in episode 1? Where Maddie crashed with the rest of that family? Don't know. It could be, but we'll see. And that's pretty much it for the episode. Pretty good episode. Pretty intense scenes. So up next, I'll obviously have episode 3 to discuss, but then we'll have to wait for episode 4 and then the rest of the season. Yo, I can't wait to see Pennywise himself show up, because that's like the biggest draw to the show for me, actually just seeing the damn clown. We've seen it, we've seen it before. We've seen it take the form of the monster baby and Ronnie's mother, but we just haven't seen Pennywise yet. That's who I want to see. I want to see Pennywise. And I heard rumors, since obviously the season's not done yet, I heard rumors that none of the kids we follow in the season are going to make it out alive. Since we don't hear or see from them, we don't see or hear from them, I should say, in present day, during the movies. So that has me thinking, they all probably died long ago. Is it bad of me to say that if Pennywise is to slaughter these kids, do it brutally and grotesquely? I want to be thoroughly disgusted. You know, if the boys can't disgust me with their gore, then I'm hoping something like this show can. You know what I can't help but just see when it comes to Pennywise design? Obviously, we know it's Bill Skarsgård underneath all that makeup, but I just can't help but see where the bald cap is put on, you know? There's a certain line, there's a certain indentation you can see where it's the cutoff between actual skin and the head prosthetic. You can't help but actually just see it. Anyone else excited for the rest of the season? 2 episodes in, and it's already fantastic. And it's already confirmed we're gonna get like 2 more seasons, I think. If not, then it's guaranteed getting season 2. So that's very excellent news to me. You know, I wonder what they're gonna do with the franchise after this show. But that's a thought for the future. Because Pennywise dead. Pennywise is dead in the present day. The Losers Club killed him in It Chapter 2. So there is no more stories moving forward. We can really only go back. I mean, there is plenty of stories, you know? We're seeing the 27 years prior to the first It movie. We could go another 27 years back, but there's only so many 27 years we can go back to, because Derry is, you know, Derry hasn't existed this entire time. Like, I want to see the origins literally played out. I want to see it crash land onto Earth. I want to see the very first ritual of Chud. I want to see all of it. Okay, we have one last show to go over. Hazbin Hotel Season 2, Episode 2. This episode actually tells the events from Heaven's point of view. At the exact same time as the first episode, we see the events leading up to Episode 1's ending. So there was no hell in this episode, it was all heaven. We begin with the council up in heaven questioning Penchus. Who he is, how he got to heaven. Did he sneak into heaven? Because clearly redemption can't be possible. What an asinine concept, right? We meet certain brand new characters. We meet Abel, the son of Adam. I wonder if we're going to see Cain. Cain is the first serial killer, isn't he? Like, he killed his brother Abel? Isn't that how the story goes? I only know from Lucifer. So, we see Abel. I wonder if we're gonna see Cain. So, Abel is nothing like his father. He's more chill, more relaxed, less a dick like his father Adam was. We see Sarah at first in denial that Penchus could have been redeemed, could be redeemed, and that's why he's here in heaven. He's just, in fact, instead, Sarah's just like, how did you sneak in? How did you get up here? And, you know, the council in heaven is also wondering, like, hell, they know that after all of our eradications, they're able to kill archangels now. They killed Adam. Would they want to retaliate now? Would they like to wage war because of all of the bloodshed that we brought to them? And then we see Lute absolutely lost in the Kool-Aid sauce, way too deep into Adam's train of thought, his mentality. It's like Lute is so far gone. It's like it's unbelievable how far gone Lute is. It's like, damn. They said they needed some villains for this show, and they chose to make the most despicable villains ever, where you really hope for their downfall. So then we meet the Speaker of God, and she comes down and asks Penchus to tell his story. So we learn Penchus's backstory. Penchus was alive in London during the year 1888. That was a long time ago, 1888. Penchus was an inventor back then. He didn't really socialize. However, he always watched people walk by, so that was enough humanity for him. Until he saw a woman walk by, a beautiful woman, but then she was followed, and then she was killed. Stabbed to death right in front of Penchus, inside of his home, looking down through the window. And Penchus, he did nothing. Whether it be cowardice, whether it be fear, whether it be whatever, he did nothing. He could have stopped the man. He could have reported the man, but he did nothing. And that man went to kill 5 more women. And we learned that Penchus took that guilt to his grave, where he ended up in hell. Now, London 1888. Is that Jack the Ripper? It wasn't explicitly said, it was kind of hinted at, since, you know, London 1888. So then he tells of how he, during the fight with the angels, he didn't care what happened to him. He just wanted everyone, all his friends, and especially Cherry Bomb, to be safe. So he acted without even considering the consequences. He just charged towards Adam, and then he got killed. And because of that, he's redeemed. He's redeemed, and now he's in heaven. He is a cleansed soul. But Lute still isn't buying it, but Sarah actually does. Sarah now feels tremendous guilt. Because remember, she was the head. She actually approved on heaven doing the exterminations in hell. So Lute still testifies, she still goes up against it, but then Sarah puts her foot down, and it's just like, you will do exactly what you are being told. Anything else will be considered treason. Are we clear? Lute also mentions to Sarah that she talked to Lilith, which is stepping way out of bounds. We do see Lilith briefly. We don't get to see her eyes. And we don't even know where she is. Still. But we do see the other side. Where, you know, last episode we saw Charlie try to call her mother. Left a voicemail and everything. This time, we see Lilith get the phone call but decline it. I wonder why. I also find it interesting to think that heaven and hell, or wherever Lilith is, they have phone service. They have phones that can communicate between heaven and hell. I assume Lilith is in heaven. We don't know where she is. Maybe she's in purgatory. But yeah, they just have cell service that can go beyond realms and kingdoms. You know, the kingdom of the Silver City, or the kingdom down under. So now we see Penchus, he's kind of stuck here. Penchus never really wanted to go to heaven. He wasn't really at that hotel for redemption per se, kinda. But now that he's in heaven, all he wants to do is go back to hell to see his friends, to see Cherry Bomb, make sure everyone's okay. But he can't. And also, now that he's in heaven, there is no evil, there's no conflict, there's just sweets, desserts, sunshine, rainbows, ponies. Not fit for Penchus. Penchus' whole life has been surrounded by sinners in hell. He's also driven by conflict. So, Penchus is not where he belongs. I'll admit, I didn't even consider this. The fact that a sinner could be redeemed, get into heaven, but then not want to be there anymore. Emily tries her best to comfort Penchus by singing a song, like this show does, but that just goes to make Penchus even more sad. Penchus does bring up a good point. All of his egg boys, were also in the aircraft that Adam destroyed. Why aren't they in heaven? You know, if they're not in heaven, then they're gone. They're dead. Only Penchus made it up to heaven. All of his egg minions are dead. Well, except for one, the one we saw comforting Charlie in the last episode. So Emily was nice enough to conjure up a couple of, like, replacement eggs with no souls to them, it looks like, but it's some sort of replacement. Sarah, talking to the speaker of God, she feels guilt. She feels guilt now that she knows redemption is possible. She feels guilt over all the souls that she gave the green light to be exterminated. All those souls lost. Had there just been a little bit of care put in to help those lost souls, those damned souls, to redeem and repent and atone, maybe those souls could have been fixed and be in heaven. So now Sarah feels tremendous guilt over everything that she's done, all the bloodshed that are on her hands. We see Lute absolutely lose it to the point she starts hallucinating Adam. I don't know. I kind of would have wished Adam stayed dead. Like, not even have Lute hallucinate him. Kind of wish, Adam was gone. Like, completely gone, but whatever, fine. Lute is now hallucinating him. There was a scene where Lute is almost like, Adam, I never even got a chance to tell you that Adam's just like, you think I didn't know? Gee, I wonder what that meant. And then we get this pretty epic song between Lute and Adam, Gravity. They posted it before the episode, I think. And It actually is a pretty banger of a song. Man, why did Adam and Lute have some of the best songs in the goddamn show? So now Lute is more determined than ever to kill every last one of them. That can't be good. We also see, after Sarah had a meeting with Abel and the hell is the guy's name again? The one who watches the door? Whatever. Him. That Sarah came to the conclusion to put heaven on lockdown. Any souls who approach heaven to enter heaven or not will be evaluated and be given permission before entering heaven. So heaven is on lockdown. We see literally a barrier form around heaven. You know, I remember being told as a kid that heaven is infinite, is endless. You can continue walking, trying to go from one end of heaven to the other, and you will just keep on going. It's forever. I didn't really picture heaven being like this, almost like planet that can have a barrier put around it. I imagine heaven being a realm of its own. But it's small enough, I guess, to have an entire, like, bubble put around it. So now that heaven is on lockdown, Penchus asks Emily, is this good? Is this bad? Should we warn Charlie? And Emily's just like, oh my god, you're right, Charlie, I should warn her. I should also tell her that you're here. So Emily opens a portal, goes to hell to tell Charlie. Penchus is just like, wait, can I go with you too? But too late. So he just curls up into his bed and cries. And well, that was the scene that led up to what we saw in the first episode. Emily just showing up out of nowhere, telling Charlie, hey, heaven is on lockdown, and by the way, Penchus is in heaven now, okay, bye! Alright, so next episode, the plot can actually move forward. I wonder when the Hell of a Boss cast of characters are going to show up, what their role in the season is going to be. In this episode, we briefly explored Penchus' backstory, who he was and how he looked back on Earth when he was alive. I wonder if we're going to get that for all of our characters this season. Let's see. We heard Vox's backstory, but we didn't actually see it. I wonder if we're going to get a flashback to Angel Dust's backstory, because supposedly, he should have overdosed, and that's how he died. It was in the Addict song. So if we do see Angel Dust's backstory when he was alive on Earth, we know how it ends for him. He overdosed. And I also want to see Husker's backstory, Nifty's backstory. I wonder if Nifty was a unhinged little serial killer back on Earth. And, oh, you know what? Absolutely show me Alistair's backstory. 2 episodes in, Alistair hasn't really done anything yet. I mean, episode 2 was all heaven-based, but still, he didn't really do anything in episode 1. Alright, well, we're about to end for tonight. Once I'm done this, I will continue to work on my ZA Pokédex. You know, it takes a lot of time to complete a Pokédex, to catch everything, evolve everything. It takes a damn long time. But there is a fun aspect to it. The annoying, tedious grind. It is fun. But it's a fun that I don't want to do all the time, you know? Once every new game, then it's fun to actually go around and complete the Pokédex. But, like, I'm not itching to do it again once I'm finished. Oh my god. And I've already decided I'm gonna do the Alpha Dex too. Oh, that's gonna take so long! You know how long it's going to take me to reset to the point I find everything Alpha? That'll take so incredibly long. Especially so far, I've had the luxury of catching all of the static Alpha ones. Oh my god. The rest are gonna take so long to do. There's like hundreds of alphas I gotta reset for. This thing really doesn't want to exist. Yup. Should I go into Ultra Sun? I'm tempted. I think I might try that. Go into Ultra Sun, see if my luck is better there. But I kind of don't want to be a cop-out. Yeah, coward. Exactly. I don't want to be a cop-out. If anything, this taking so long makes me even more want to see this through to the end. And plus, just out of sheer curiosity, how long this will take. But you have to keep in mind, the longer this takes, the more Persona 3 gets delayed. And pretty much everything else I want to play. Like all of those 5-episode games I mentioned. I've already played P3, I'm good. Well, me too. I want to experience 90% of the same game. I'm going to play through the whole game just for minor changes. Besides, I already bought the damn game. I'll do one last reset, just because I feel like it. Jesus Christ, why is this thing not being shiny? I'll see you all next time.